Today's class is going to be a little bit different to the last three classes, as we will get up out of the chair and move around. So for today, I'm using these purple blocks or pads underneath my feet. I feel that when I'm sitting in this chair, my knees are a little bit lower than my hips, and it's just more comfortable and I can relax a bit better with the feet on the pads. So if you've been experiencing this during your practice, then simply just fold some nice firm towels and put them underneath your feet. Or if you have anything else that you can put your feet on, that's fine too. You can also use your cushion as always. So you can sit on the cushion, or you can place the cushion in between the back of the body and the back of the chair to give you a little bit support. So this can feel really nice, in particular when we're seated at the beginning of class and at the end of class as well when we're seated. I'm using a yoga belt today, but you don't have to have an actual yoga belt. You can use the belt off your dressing gown or any long piece of material like a pair of leggings or tights as well work, or just a regular belt off your trousers. So we're going to get started. If you need to pause the video now to go and get what you need, then go ahead and I'll meet you back here. So we will begin seated on the chair. Make sure that you feel nice and sturdy and that you feel grounded wherever you are. And if this means bringing the floor up to meet you, then by all means put something underneath the feet. Resting the hands down onto the legs. And I invite you to either soften the gaze or to close the eyes here for a moment or two. And just begin to tune in with the physical body, noticing how it feels as you come here to your practice. And see if you can relax into the chair. Can you allow your body to be heavy and to ground down? Becoming aware of your breath. Noticing the gentle rise and fall of the body as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And see, can you sit up a little taller? So if your back is right in against the chair, maybe you're moving out from it a little bit now, or you might just be having that action of sitting up taller. That might be enough for today. And think about finding length in the spine each time you breathe in. Imagining the crown of the head moving upwards with your inhale. And then each time you exhale, can you soften the shoulders, soften the face, and allow the whole body to relax down. Notice the connection of your feet with the floor. Connection of your body against the chair. Just really becoming aware of your physical self and acknowledging at the beginning of practice if there's anything going on in the physical body. So if you're working with an injury, or if you're working with an illness or pain or anything at all that might be going on, just really being mindful of it during your practice. Never going to a place that doesn't feel right. Never going past the edge or creating injury in the body. Really just respecting your body as it is right now and accepting your body as it is. Thinking of all that your physical body has done for you in your life. This wonderful vessel that we reside in. And look at your yoga practice as a way of taking care of your physical body, but also a way of taking care of what's inside, of the deeper layers of your being. A way to look after your mind as well as your body. Notice how the mind is as you come to practice. Perhaps there's thoughts coming in and out, and that's okay. Just acknowledge them. And each time the mind wanders off, just keep on bringing it back to your breath, to your practice, working to stay present throughout our practice. And this is what creates the union of our yoga. The mind, the body and the breath coming together. Keeping this in mind, keeping the awareness on the breath. If the eyes are closed, you can gently blink them open. Give yourself a moment or two to let the gaze come back to the room. Make any readjustments that you need in your chair. And then we'll start to gently roll the shoulders up to the ears and down the back. So it's that action of creating movement in the shoulder joint. Each time the shoulders roll back and down, releasing a little more tension that could be held there. And then pause and go back the other direction, so forwards and down. You might even turn your hands now so that your fingers are facing in towards each other, just to get a bigger movement in the shoulder. And then we'll do one more up to the ears and then relax the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing in now, take the arms out to about shoulder height and then start to move the hands so that the palms face up and then they face down. So moving here with awareness, just noticing if there's anything in the shoulders that feels a little tight, or sometimes you can hear clicks and cracks. It's usually okay as long as there's no pain. So if at any stage during the practice you start to experience pain, then make the movement much smaller, and if it still doesn't help, then let that area of the body rest for a moment or two until we move on to the next one. And the next time you turn the palms up, holding them here, take a big inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. You might even look up here. Exhale, the hands come down into the heart center. Breathing in now, create a big circle with the arms and reach up. Maybe you look up. Exhale, hands come down. Really nice. Breathing in, one more big circle. And exhale, the hands come all the way back down. From here, interlace the fingers and then make gentle circles with the wrists. Go one way and then the other. There might be clicks and cracks again here. I don't know if my microphone is picking that up. Don't be alarmed, it's okay. And then release the hands, give the hands a shake. So start to shake the hands. Just notice how that feels. We usually just shake our hands when we've washed them and we're going to dry them. Or for any other reason. If there was something on our hands, we might shake them, but we don't usually shake them for long periods of time like this. Just notice how that feels in the tissues, how the bones are feeling as they move against each other. Good. Can you allow that movement to come up the arms? Start shaking the arms. I know, sometimes it feels really funny and unusual. We don't usually do this. Kids do it all the time. Why did we stop doing it? Really nice. And then relax the arms back down. Take the hands onto the knees and just observe how your arms and your shoulders are feeling now. Notice any sensations, maybe tingling, energizing, a lift of energy, perhaps. And then let's come back to the breath with each inhale growing tall, with each exhale softening the shoulders away from the ears. So we'll bring the left hand onto the right thigh. Take an inhale to lengthen, and as you exhale, twisting to your right side. So only going as far as feels right for today. You've got the option to take your right hand behind you. Maybe you're holding the side of the chair. You might reach around and even hold the back of your chair, depending what's available to you right now. With each inhale, grow taller. With each exhale, moving gently into the twist. Now, once you're in your twist, can you relax the shoulders and the face? Listening to the breath here and just noticing if it feels restricted or if it feels a little laboured here. Just being aware of that. And then with your next inhale, slowly bring yourself back into centre. We'll take the other side. So the right hand comes onto the left thigh now. Breathing in to grow tall as you exhale, twisting to the left. Your left hand might come behind you to the side of the chair, or you might reach behind. Once again, it just depends on what's available and what type of chair you're sitting in. Can you keep the length in your spine and allow the twist to come from the rib cage area? It's almost like the torso is twisting around the spine. The legs stay back in front so they're not moving. You're anchored down into the chair. Feet are firmly on the floor. And then breathing in, slowly come back into center and release. So if you've got a cushion behind you now, you can take it out and just leave it over to the side. And then bring yourself forwards or scooch forwards a little bit on the chair. You might even need to move your foot support out if you're using it. Make sure you feel that your chair is sturdy here. If you're sitting on a fold-up chair like me, they can sometimes get a little bit wobbly at this point. So make sure you feel really safe. And then start to stir the belly. This time the noises might be coming from the chair. Hopefully that's okay. Go one way and then go the other direction. So let's just get a bit more movement going on here in the torso area. We often forget about the middle of our bodies. We're so busy working on shoulders and necks and arms and legs. Really nice. And then breathing in, take it back into center. Now you can scoot yourself back in the chair and then allow your back to come into the chair. And then maybe even slouch down a little bit here. Making sure the left foot is really nicely grounded. Take your belt or whatever support you're using and then bend up your right knee. So it might not come up very far. That's okay too. If you have something in front, you can even have the leg in front there, placed on it like another chair perhaps, or if you've got someone to help you that might help you holding onto the leg. And maybe you'll hold here, or you might start to draw the knee in towards the chest, creating compression here in the hip joint. And just hold for a breath or two. If you need to release before me, that's absolutely fine. And then very slowly, when you're ready, releasing. So I'm going to give you a couple of options here. If you've got the chair in front of you and if it feels like enough to have the foot up on the chair, then you can stay right there. For others, it might feel better just to hold the knee in, holding onto the front of it. Or if you'd like to bring a bit of movement now into the hip joint, you can take the belt and you can slide it down so it's around the ball of your foot. So just where the toes end. And then maybe the leg will start to straighten and bend. So it doesn't have to straighten all the way, and it might be much further down. You might only be lifting it an inch or two off the floor. That's absolutely fine too. What we're looking to achieve here is some movement in the knee joint and also a little bit of flexion in the hip joint. So that's right up here. If at any stage you feel pinching, pulling or pain, then relax back out of this movement. Really nice. This is great for keeping the knee joint healthy, mobilizing it. And again, if you need to stop at any stage, then just come to rest. That's absolutely fine too. Maybe you lift a little bit higher. See what happens. So good. The next time the leg straightens, so it doesn't matter where it is. It might be still down on the floor or it might be out in front. Holding it here and then see, can you press the heel away? It's like you're curling the toes towards you. You might start to feel this down the back of the lower leg, so the calf muscles and the Achilles tendon area. Right down here. Good, and then very gently release from here and place the foot back down. We'll do the other side. So you can have your belt here again, but first of all, we'll work with just holding the knee up. So your knee might come up a little bit. You might be putting it on another chair in front of you, or somebody could be helping you here as well. That's fine too. And just start to create that gentle compression of drawing the knee in. For some of you, your knee might come closer to your chest. That's absolutely fine. And then when you're ready to release, take your belt and place it around the ball of the foot. Again, you can get somebody to help you here. And then begin to bend and straighten the knee. So working to find movement now in the knee joint, a little bit in the hip too. You might even relax back into it. You might be more active, staying more forwards. You get to decide what works for you in the practice. And then when you're ready, straighten the leg. Press the heel away. So your heel might be right down on the floor. That's absolutely fine too. We're looking to find length in the back of the left leg. Noticing the breath, if it's changed here since we started moving dynamically. That's totally normal. And then very gently, let's release from there. Take the belt out, put it on the back of the chair because we are going to use it later. And then we're coming up to stand. So if you've got something underneath your feet, just push them out of the way now. You can push them away with your feet and then coming up to stand. So take the feet nice and wide apart, holding onto the thighs. And then think about rounding the spine back, chin comes towards the chest. You're looking down between the feet. And then allow yourself to come forwards over the legs. You might even move the heels in a little bit closer. Pressing into the thighs, but not the knee joints. Bring yourself all the way up. Good. So you might be holding the wall or a piece of furniture here too. That's absolutely fine. And then we'll come around to stand at the back of the chair. I'm just going to move my chair forwards a little bit so that you can see. I'll just move the cushion out of the way. So we'll come to stand. You can hold onto the chair here for a little bit of stability if you feel you'd like to do that. And then take the feet to about hips width or wider if that works better for you. If you're in your socks or your bare feet now, pick up all the toes, spread them out and ground them down into the earth. And then think about standing up nice and tall. Imagine the crown of the head is moving upwards like a little puppet being drawn up by a string. But at the same time, the feet are pressing and grounding evenly into the earth. Now bring that awareness up through the legs. You can even soften the gaze here if you like. If it feels good to close the eyes, then by all means you can do that too. Bringing the awareness up from the feet, through the legs to the knees. Just check in with how the knees are. Right up through the thighs and then into the pelvis. And bring the awareness to the low belly. You might even bring one hand onto the low belly here. And then think about finding a tone with the low belly. Almost like if you were wearing a corset. Imagine somebody closing the corset nice and snug around your middle. Standing up tall. Allow the shoulders to relax down away from the ears. Let the arms be heavy, so you're either holding your chair or they're by your sides. And then bring the chin so that it's parallel with the floor. So your gaze is right in front of you if the eyes are open. The eyes are still soft. And then from here, if the eyes are closed, you can blink them open. And then we'll stand back from the chair just a little bit. Take the feet a small bit wider, soften the knees, and then begin to move from side to side. So you're transferring the weight from one foot to another. Really gentle movement. It's almost like a little swaying, gentle dance. And then come back into center, keeping the knees soft. So we don't want the knees locked out or pushing the knees back. They're really nice and soft here. And then start to circle out the hips. If you hear creaks, it's off my floor. Just in case you're wondering. So the chair is here for that stability. But if you feel like you want to let go, maybe you'll take the hands to the hips and really go for it with the hip circles. You might even have one hand back on the chair. All of these options will work. And then pause and go back the other direction. So this is a great way to mobilize the lower spine and the hip joints. So this side to side movement is really good for helping to keep our hips healthy. Lubricates the joints. Creates increased blood flow. It also gives us a lovely energy in the body. And then when you're ready, take it back into center, standing up tall. So we'll bring the feet back to about hips width apart and once again holding onto the chair. As you breathe in, start to slide your right leg out to the side. So you might be able to point the toe, so all of the weight is in the left side now. And then slide the foot back in underneath the hip. Good, let's do this a few more times. So what we don't want to happen is this leaning to one side and lifting the leg out. You're not going to lift the leg up off the floor. It's going to stay connected to the floor all of the time. And we want to really just fire up the left side of the body here. So we're using one side of our body differently to the other side. And this is really good for our balance and for movement in general. So standing up tall, with an inhale, slide the right leg out. Try not to move anything else, just the leg, toe points, and then slide it back in as you breathe out. Good, so move with your own breath, sliding the foot in and sliding it out. Good, try to stay light on the chair, so let the left side of the body really do the work. Even though it's the right side that's moving, the left side has to stabilize to keep you here. Good, let's do one more like this. And the next time the foot comes out to the side, point the toe, and maybe you can bring the foot forwards and then back. Good, don't worry, you don't need to look down at it. Keep your gaze forwards so that you're staying nice and balanced, and find that movement just in the leg, in the hip joint. This is a great way as well to strengthen up the muscles on the outside of your hip. Great, let's do one more, forwards and back. And then when you're ready, take the foot back in, it's underneath the heel, underneath the hip I should say, and then come back to stand again, really grounding yourself. And just notice if one side feels different to the other. So we'll do the second side. When you're ready, ground through the right side and then slide the left foot out, pointing the toe, really nice. And then bring it back in under. So good, start to move like this with your breath. As always, with all of our exercises, with all of our yoga poses, if at any stage this doesn't work for you, then come to rest. If you need to sit back down in the chair, then please do so too. Listening to the body, making this your own practice. I'm merely just here to guide you. Let's do one more. Slide it out and point the toe, and then bring it back in. Now this time as we bring the leg out, let's hold it here, work to find the balance. You might even fire up that corset area in the lower belly again, and then gently slide the foot forwards and back. So you don't need to look where the foot is. That can sometimes throw our balance off. I'm just keeping my gaze forwards. Good, notice the outside of the hips here. You might feel it in both hips at this point, because we've already really worked the right side. Gently going forwards and back. And then when you're ready, take it back into center, slide the left foot underneath the left hip and come back to stand again. Really nice. We'll give the hips another little circle here. Feel like you're neutralizing in the spinal area and around the hips. Good, and then go the other way. We always do everything on both sides so we don't feel unbalanced. And then as you breathe in, come back into center, standing up really nice and tall. From here, the hands come onto the chair and then start to lean yourself forwards. So it's like you're looking down at the seat of the chair. And then walk the feet back just a step or two and soften the knees. As you breathe in now, can you stick your bum out and let your belly go down? Gaze in front. Really nice. With your next exhale now, tuck the tailbone under. It's almost like you're scooping the belly in and you look back towards your legs. Good, let's move like this with our breath. Breathing in, send the tailbone out behind you. Let the belly drop down, gaze up. Exhale, rounding in, the chin comes to the chest, tuck the tailbone under. Breathing in now, send the tailbone back behind you. Let the belly go down and gaze up, broadening across the collarbones. Exhale, rounding in, tucking under, chin to chest. Good, let's do a few more like this. In your own time with your own breath, don't worry how big or how small the movement is. We're articulating the bones of the spine, creating gentle movement, increasing the blood flow. And this in turn helps to release our happy hormones, makes us feel good, That's why we always feel great after a yoga practice. Really nice. The next time you send the tailbone out behind you and look forwards, hold it here. You can keep the knees soft. The arms can be straight and strong. If you need to come out at any stage, as always, please do. And then when you're ready, come back to a neutral spine. And then begin to walk the feet back in, standing up really nice and tall. So good. Let's come back to sit on the chair. So you can have your cushion with you and have your belt there as well. I'm going to move my chair back a little bit. And then placing my feet on the pads, or you can put yours on your towel if that's available. So good. So come back, let's sit up nice and tall again and reconnect back in with the breath. So sometimes when we do dynamic movement like that, the breath can speed up, or we can lose our train of thought, or we can start to even have new thoughts coming in and get distracted. So let's just come back to sit, tune back in with the breath, soften the gaze for a moment or two. And then when you're ready, taking the belt into the hands, whatever it is that you're using, and hold it out in front. So make sure you've got a nice firm grip on it. As you breathe in now, start to reach the arms up. Try not to let the rib cage flare out. Think about drawing the ribs down a little bit. Just lifting the arms as far as they want to go. They might come up overhead. You might need to widen the belt a little bit here as well. That's fine too. It doesn't really matter how wide it is. And then exhaling, slowly allowing the belt to come back down. So move like this with your breath. Breathing in to reach up and breathing out to lower. So don't worry if your breath is different to mine, that's okay. Let's do one more like this, reaching up and then allowing the hands to come right back down. So good. So we'll leave the belt over to one side again. Take the hands onto the thighs, give the shoulders one or two more rolls out, go forwards and backwards. Just do whatever feels good. You might even be doing the swimming movement, as I call it, where one shoulder comes up while the other one's going down. And then change direction. And then come to sit. I invite you now to soften the gaze or to close the eyes. The hands can rest down onto the knees, or maybe they're in the lap. Just allowing everything to be still here at the end of your practice. Tuning back in with the breath. And inviting a softness back into the body. Across the forehead and between the eyebrows. Let that whole area be soft and calm. Cheeks and the jaw, there's no effort around the mouth. Just let it be however it is. And the shoulders rest down away from the ears. Just allowing yourself to be here for these last few moments of your practice. Just you with your breath, with your body, and with your mind. beginning to bring your awareness now back to your breath. Allow it to deepen. Full, deep, expansive breaths. You might even sigh out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And if the eyes are closed, blink them open, bring the gaze back around to the room. Taking the hands together at the heart center, bowing our heads and offering thanks and respects to one another for coming to practice here, and thanks and respects to the ancient tradition of yoga. Namaste.